Welcome back. It's a busy time in Raid right now with CVC just starting up, so people might be leveling up all their artifacts to try to get some points there, but we also have a tournament going on for Ice Golem and one for Fire Knight that just started, but with the Fire Knight one, we can only use the Galen Pact. And I made a team that's really cool for this for Fire Knight 20 that's got amazing synergy, and I want to show you that team. So we can only use Ogryn Tribe, Lizardman, Skinwalker, and Orcs, but are the rewards worth it? Is it worth us doing this, you know? 4-star chicken, rare books, and 15 gems. If we're going to have these type of tournaments that aren't very often, right? We don't have these tournaments very often at all. And really, I don't remember the last time we had Galen Pact for Fire Knight. I remember we had it for Dragon, I believe. So this is going to come around maybe once every 6 months that we're going to have to do this in Fire Knight. If we're going to have to change our teams and really focus on using champions we wouldn't normally use, then we need to see some crazy rewards. I'm not mad at this. I just feel like a lot of people are going to ignore it. And I want these rewards right here to where we compete to be really high. I don't mind getting a Void Shard or 2 Ancients, but to put the effort and work into doing this, most people are going to ignore it. It's not going to be a big deal for them. Let me see what Global is. Global's probably a legendary book. Ends in, yes. I don't know. Let me know what Global is. I don't think it's pulling up. I would like to see something more. Something that makes it worth our time to make these cool and unique teams. And you know how much I love making these teams. Now, I didn't do it with the legendary champions that you're going to see a lot of people use. There are great legendary champions to go through this with, but I made a team that I feel has amazing synergy, and it's using champions that you already have leveled up. So for stage 20, if you do want to do this and get your 4-star chicken and your 15 gems, then use a team like this. We've got Seer in here, Rhazin Scarhide, Eurogrim for his 3 hits and his buffs for Seer. We've got a Maneater that we use in our unkillable clan boss, and then I brought in Shatterbones. If you don't want to use Shatterbones, you can use Kreela Witcharm. Warlord is an amazing one to use. There's a lot of orcs that do turn meter reduction, legendary ones that are really great to play here. But this gives us turn meter reduction with Maneater, turn meter reduction with Shatterbones, and then also with Rhazin Scarhide. And it works out really well for that wave 2 to where we will never die. So first wave, we're going to drop it. Rhazin Scarhide's going to drop turn meter on wave 2 to deplete it. Right after we drop this wave, we got all the buffs up. And then Shatterbones is going to put a slow speed on them and increase turn meter right now. And then he's going to drop their turn meter even further this next round. And that's all Shatterbones. But I did do this with Kreela Witcharm, and I also did it with Warlord, easy times. Of course, with Warlord, you know, right? Simple. And then all those other ones I talked about, those other orcs out there that are amazing with turn meter reduction, but they take a lot of legendary books, and you probably don't have them booked out. Even Gomlock, the new one you can get from doing Doom Tower Hard Secret Rooms, has really cool turn meter reduction on the A2, but just too many books for me to try to play with. I don't have legendary books to play around with something like this. So every time this happens, now if Rhazin's smart, which he's usually not, he'll do his A1. There we go. Thank you, Rhazin Scarhide. It's strange that they didn't program Rhazin Scarhide correctly. Now he's always going to drop the turn meter here on the boss. Watch this. Even if she didn't hit there, oh man, she's going to town. We would have done that, and then Rhazin Scarhide would have bogged down every single time. This is not pre-recorded. We just did this run together. It's always a 2-minute to a 2-minute and 10-second run for me. Full auto. This team has worked out so well. Look, we got a slow speed up. Turn meter reduction again, Maneater, Shadowbones. This is the Maneater from my unkillable clan boss. You are going to need to put an accuracy banner on him. And then I didn't change anything with my Seer. I didn't change anything with Eurogrim. And then Rhazin Scarhide is built the same way I had him built for the Spider team when I did the all Lizardman Spider team. And I'll show you the speeds at the end. No fancy gear, just the normal gear you'd have in your DPS Maneater for your unkillable clan boss. And the greatest thing is you won't die, right? With that wave 2, wave 1, you always take out. You have all those buffs. You get even more buffs with Kreela. You get even more damage with Kreela, bringing the pool in. But on wave 2, if you get back around like I did here, you don't have to worry about dying because you have an unkillable buff and a block debuffs buff up. 2 minutes, 6 seconds. See? Maybe not 50. Maybe 10 times in a row. I did it more before it even started the tournament. And I always got 2 minutes to 2, maybe even 2:08. Maybe not even 2:10. Always the same every time because you saw it play out as I told you would happen before it happened. So let me know if this team is going to work for you. Here are the speeds we've got on these beautiful people and the damage. This is my damage dealing seer. You don't need to have her this strong, especially if you put somebody in a shield set. If you wanted to put Shatterbone in a steel shield set, you can. That would give you more buffs so your seer doesn't have to be as strong. You could bring in that Kreela Witch Arm for even more buffs. We're getting, oh, I forgot to tell you. So Shatterbone's on his A1. If he crits, he gets a buff here for increased attack, which I didn't necessarily need, but I thought it was really cool. So I have him come in with his A1. He's got a 100% chance to crit. I forgot to talk about that as it was going on. So whenever he does, he comes in the beginning, he'll crit on that A1. He'll put up these buffs. So then when Seer drops that wave on the A1, we've got Eurogrim giving us all these buffs. We've got Maneater giving us all these buffs. And then we've got that increased attack on everyone, which you would have with Kreela Witch Arm and the crit rate too. If you brought her in there, she would give you those 2 buffs. And then of course you could still have somebody else in a shield set if your Seer is not this strong, with as much critical damage as I have in a Savage set. Rhazin Scarhide, nothing fancy. I just have him start off with his Bone Sword. And I have Maneater start off with his A3. And then I make sure I do priority to Siphon so that when we're fighting the boss, whenever Siphon's up, he'll use it. To take his turn meter, I don't know if that's good or not. Even if we hit the shield with this, it's fine. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. Comes back really quick. So it seems to be okay with as much turn meter reduction as we have. I locked out his A2, so he's not trying to heal anybody. That way we'll always get these 3 hits on the boss, or we'll get this ability. And then Shatterbones is just set up to do that A1, so we get this buff immediately. So that's the team I picked. I didn't go through there and get anybody fancy. There are a lot of legendaries that I would like to play around with if I had books to do them. Growhawk would be amazing coming in here and stealing the turn meter. Even though it's on a 4-turn cooldown, I would like to try him out. But I don't have books to play around. Actually, having a legendary book for us to fight over for this in each tournament bracket, or a few legendary books, would be pretty nice. It would actually give us a reason to put books into these because we're going to win a few back, possibly win a few back. Kreela is amazing for this. And then the new guy, Gomlock, if I did want to book him out on a 2-turn cooldown, we're taking turn meter. So a 2-turn cooldown to take turn meter is pretty sweet, plus AoE decreased defense would have been fun to bring this guy into the mix, but I can't afford it. I can take them up to 60. I've actually got more chickens than books, but I just can't afford these books. It just won't work. And then, of course, Warlord, you know how Warlord is, really good. And if you wanted to get Reflection, you could do that to where you could kind of tank the shield, take it down, and then start doing turn meter reduction on it. We need multi-hit to take down the shield. That's the biggest thing. So my biggest gripe about this whole entire game is that when this company came in here to change Cold Heart, to make sure that her A1 would do her 4 hits, always the A1 whenever the shield's up on the Fire Knight, and then she would only use her A3 when the shield is down. They made Rhazin Scarhide only uses A3 when the shield is down, but they didn't program him to only uses A1. So sometimes he'll use his A1, sometimes he'll use his A2. And the little things like this really get me with this company because they're wanting us to do different teams. They're wanting us to try to do well in this tournament, to make different teams, which I love to do. I love the challenge. But then I do it, and then when I go in there, he's doing sheer instead with 1 hit instead of the 3 hit. And they could have easily programmed this to be fixed when they did Cold Heart. Because when they did Cold Heart is when they made it to where he wouldn't do his A3 on the Fire Knight. So if he's not going to do his A3, why wouldn't you program him exactly the same way as Cold Heart? Because now you're wanting me to do something special in the game, and I want to do it, but you're handicapping me. Because if he comes in and does this A2, unlike you just saw on the run where he did his A1, which was fantastic, sometimes, and I would say about 30% of the time, he'll do his A2, and that really slows us down a tremendous amount, and it makes it to where a lot of times we get hit by the Fire Knight. We can recoup easily because it's stage 20 and I'm pretty far into the game. I can take that hit. I shouldn't have to take that hit. It should already be programmed that way. So I'm hoping one day it will be, but I'm not holding my breath on that, right? Not at all. Anyways, guys, that's my team. I enjoyed building it. I'll probably make a really fast DPS team to blow through stage 20 if I have some time. But thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate the support. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all in a video soon.